Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about a buddy cop thriller movie that is very iconic in the action scene. It's Lethal Weapon. Everyone's heard of this movie before to an extent. A lot of, sorry, the fuck is in my mouth? A lot of cultural references to this movie and a lot of different media. So yeah, it was a pretty popular movie. I'm here to talk about it. By the way, today I have no idea what movie I'm going to watch. I'm literally going to figure that out on the fly. So here we go. We got the plot. We have all that stuff, critical reception. You know how it goes. Following the recent death of his wife, Los Angeles Police Department LAPD Narcotics Sergeant Martin Riggs, a former Special Forces soldier, has become suicidal and erratic. So the death of his wife has really destroyed him. It's made him act out in ways he wouldn't have acted out previously. It's pushing him off the edge. Despite the protests of the police psychiatrist, the captain believes Riggs is faking his psychosis to be forcibly retired with a generous pension and partners him with fellow war veteran and homicide sergeant Roger Murtaugh. Roger Murtaugh being played by, is it Donald Glover or Donald Glover, right? Donald Glover, or is it Danny Glover? Danny Glover is Childish Gambino. Donald Glover is this guy, correct? Danny Glover, Donald Glover. It's one of the Glover guys, right? It's Danny Glover. Yeah, Danny. Okay. Mel Gibson is playing Martin Riggs. Two very iconic actors in this movie, of course. And a lot of them got their name from this, right? So Riggs and Murtaugh do not get along, as Murtaugh is equally dismissive of Riggs' mental state, but is eventually convinced Riggs is truly suicidal and he's actually insane. He's actually gone through stuff. I don't know if the police force realized that he lost his wife or anything. Maybe they just didn't look into that. But yeah, he lost his wife. I think anyone would be suicidal if, or not everyone. I feel I guess people probably deal with death in different ways, but a lot of people would have those intrusive thoughts, if their loved one died suddenly like that. Murtaugh was contacted by a former Vietnam War friend, Michael Hunsaker, ostensibly to help his daughter Amanda escape her life of prostitution and pornography, but Amanda kills herself by jumping from an apartment balcony before she and Murtaugh meet. So he was trying to kind of get her out of that. Hunsaker needed help. He needed to get his daughter, some help. Murtaugh wasn't able to get there in time, and obviously, the opening sequence of the movie was she killed, this prostitute, this girl, this chick. We didn't really know at first. We learn about her throughout the movie. She kills herself. Her autopsy shows she was fatally poisoned with tainted drugs, indicating she was potentially murdered. Someone, gave her drugs that were tainted, and she killed herself. She fell in that car. It caused her to jump. So it's pretty much murder. If someone ODs on a fuck ton of drugs, you give them Mac Miller, you can damn near hold him for murder. And I think that's what they did with that dealer. Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to question her pimp, but are assaulted after finding drugs on the premises, forcing Riggs to kill the pimp to save Murtaugh's life. And he's shot, put in the pool wrap. He's suffocating and drowning at the same time. Wow, that would be fucking brutal, wouldn't it? Yeah, Murtaugh's we don't kill people, we're the police, we're here to save people, we don't kill people, and Riggs just couldn't help himself in that situation, he killed the guy. Their final lead is Dixie, a prostitute who witnessed Amanda's death, and whom the pair believe may have poisoned her. Dixie might have poisoned her, they're gonna question her and whatnot. She saw her jump, the fact that she was the only victim, or the only witness at the scene, it says a lot. Dixie's home explodes as they arrive, and her corpse is later recovered. We don't know how the hell this house just randomly exploded. That was really weird. There was no explanation to that. That was interesting. Riggs locates components of a mercury switch explosive among the debris, a specialty explosive he recalls being used by Central Intelligence Agency CIA mercenaries in Vietnam. So he's a big military guy. I mean, so is Murtaugh, but Riggs is a fucking expert. This guy's a marksman. He's got good aim. He knows about damn near every weapon in the book. That's kind of what his character. That's kind of the character this movie's painting him out to be, of course. The suspect is detailed by neighborhood children who noticed he had an elite special forces tattoo similar to Riggs's. So when you're in the audience and you're watching this, oh shit, is there going to be a plot twist involved? Did Riggs do this? That would have made for some interesting shit right there, right? But I don't think Riggs did it. Obviously, there's someone else that was probably on his like squadron or something that did it in revenge for him or something weird. Maybe he has like a grudge against someone. We don't know. I don't think we ever find out who did that. I don't know. Suspecting Hunsaker is withholding information, Riggs and Murtaugh visit him during Amanda's funeral. They like use her funeral, which is kind of fucked up, honestly. They like use her funeral to like talk to him, sweet talk him, get him to say what they want him to say. He reveals that during the Vietnam War he worked for Shadow Company, a defunct CIA paramilitary unit tasked with destabilizing the local heroin trade. So it's pretty much like the CIA division that was responsible for drug retrieval, I guess you could say. Following the war, the ex-CIA agents, mercenaries, and soldiers involved reformed Shadow Company as a criminal organization and began shipping large quantities of heroin from Asia to the United States under the leadership of retired General Peter McAllister and his right-hand man, Mr. Joshua. So all these guys were pretty much CIA agents, they were mercenaries, they were soldiers, whatever. They were a part of the CIA at some point during the Vietnam War, and after this... and you gotta think, I mean, this movie was made in 1987, so this isn't like an irrelevant thing. This wasn't an irrelevant event. I don't remember when the Vietnam War happened, but obviously, it's been a while since I've taken a history class. It's probably been a good, 4 years. But, let me think here. Yeah, so all these, former CIA agents, they got together, they formed, a criminal organization, because they knew a lot about heroin already, they knew how to, scope it out, they knew where people were getting it from, so they said, fuck it, we're just going to make a criminal organization. Mr. Joshua and, Peter McAllister are the guys we see in, the nightclub, right? Hunsaker's role as a banker allowed him to make the illicit funds seem legitimate, he was able to, launder the money, that's what you call it, right? He initially called Murtaugh to confess and turn witness against Shadow Company. McAllister had Amanda killed in retaliation. So that was kind of like this plan the whole time. It was like a setup. If he would have snitched, which he did, the family, or they would have went for his family. And that's kind of what happened to Murtaugh in this movie, too. It's kind of an interesting little parallel. Who the hell rung my doorbell? I'm not sure. I'm not going to get it until someone, texts me about it. They keep doing it, obviously I'm gonna go get it, but yeah. Joshua arrives in a helicopter and shoots Hunsaker to death before escaping, so yeah. They saw Hunsaker as a police informant, so they had to get rid of him, right? He later attempts to kill Riggs in a drive-by shooting, but the latter is saved by his bulletproof vest. Riggs' death is fake to give the pair an advantage, so it looks like only Murtaugh is gonna show up and come after them. Concerned Murtaugh knows too much, Shadow Company kidnaps his daughter, Rianne, and forces Murtaugh to meet them at El Mirage Lake. So that's kind of where, the final acts of the movie, that's kind of where the action sequences later on in the film are taking place. The car chases and whatnot. He told him some shit. We're going to have to make it personal, right? Because they killed Amanda. For Hunsaker, and now they're just going to take his other daughter. Because he's not really in their operation. He's not really interested. Riggs provides sniper support to help Murtaugh and Rianne escape, but all three are captured and recovered to a nightclub basement, a Shadow Company front. It makes it look like they're just a normal nightclub owners, and it turns out, no, there's a lot of shit going on under here. Riggs and Murtaugh are tortured for information until Riggs escapes, kills several Shadow Company members, and frees Murtaugh and Rianne. And it's kind of a weird dynamic, and I'm not really a big I'm not really a big fan of the Rianne character because she's crushing on this guy, and there's a fat ass age gap. I don't know. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing that they put in the film. I don't know why they included it, but it is what it is. Although Joshua escapes, Murtaugh kills McAllister. So now it's pretty much just Mr. Joshua. They gotta go after him. Deciding Joshua will seek revenge at Murtaugh's home, Riggs and Murtaugh ambush him. They pull up to his house. They try to act oh, you got me. They sneak up on him. Why are my arms so sore? Riggs defeats Joshua in a brawl, but decides not to kill him because he took Murtaugh's advice. He's I'm not gonna kill people. We're the police. We save people, we detain them, we punish them. Killing people would just put them out of their misery. Police officers take Joshua into custody, but he breaks free, takes an officer's gun and attempts to shoot Riggs and Murtaugh. The pair return fire, killing him. So obviously, like, that's the appropriate situation you'd want to kill someone with. A short time later, after visiting his wife's grave, which is really sad, but obviously he's like reflecting, Riggs shares a Christmas Day meal with Murtaugh and his family. Kind of a happy ending. I love it. It's very full circle. Riggs gives Murtaugh a hollow point bullet he has been saving to commit suicide, as he no longer needs it. He's like, no, I don't feel suicidal anymore. Like, you've changed my life. It's a really beautiful end to the movie. Yeah. There's not really a whole lot to talk about the movie. I mean, it's still a fantastic movie. It's not fantastic. It's good. 80%, 56 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.9 out of 10. The most successful installment in a phenomenally successful franchise, Lethal Weapon helped redefine action movies for the 1980s and 1990s. This movie came before a decent amount of good action movies. The Matrix, which obviously The Matrix is innovative in its own way. It came before, I think it came before Die Hard, I want to say. It came before Bad Boys. It might have came before Point Break. Probably not, though. I'm not really sure. 6.8 out of 10 on Metacritic, 23 critics. Generally favorable movie. An A on CinemaScore. Lethal Weapon is a film teetering on the brink of absurdity when it gets serious, but thanks to his unrelenting energy and insistent drive, it never quite falls. It's a pretty solid story. Obviously, there's a lot of buddy cop movies from this time that are somewhat generic and redundant, cliche. It's like Mad Max meets The Cosby Show. It works better than you would expect, obviously, given, again, that it's like a buddy cop film. You wouldn't really think of it as anything too crazy, but it's pretty good. It's a vivid, visceral reminder of just how exciting an action film can possibly be. I mean, for its time, it's good, I think. I think if a movie like this came out today, maybe it'd be looked at a little differently, but the film is all fast action, noisy stunts, and huge, often unflattering close-ups, but it packs an undeniable wallop, so I got a 4 out of 4 from Roger Ebert. He writes for the Chicago Sun-Times. He's a very iconic reviewer. Donner tops himself with this film, so shout out to Lethal Weapon. Pretty solid movie. Some people say the sequel is better. I will eventually get to it. For now, I gotta go figure out what fucking movie I'm gonna watch. I literally haven't figured that out. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Cheesy TV. Later tonight, NBA recap. I'm gonna be watching a fuck ton of basketball today. We're also gonna be streaming on Twitch a little bit until I get my 2K challenges done. Yeah, that's really it. Hopefully everyone has a good rest of their day. By the way, I have 4 players left to get out of the 15, so I'm gonna get Bam out of bio and stuff on that stream. You